The Johnsky is a YouTube channel run by and run for people over the age of 13. People under the age of 13 should click off of this video right now, or watch with a parent or guardian. Viewer discretion is advised.
You don't scare me!
Milt is freaking to name Militiaman. My name is King Prime. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at another brand new Star Wars The Vintage Collection figure, and I do mean brand new. That being the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Attack of the Clones, Count Dooku. Finally. The last time we got a good Count Dooku figure was, I'm pretty sure, like 2007 or 6 or somewhere around that time. And we waited and waited and waited, and finally we have a good Count Dooku figure. But before we take a look at him, let's take a look at what he comes in. Of course, up at the top there, mind the dust and the crease, thanks Amazon. We have the Star Wars Attack of the Clones trades, which looks so strange to me because I own so few Attack of the Clones figures, done up in that nice blood red that we're used to. Count Dooku is, of course, his name, done on a nice blue nameplate that matches the blue pill. Down there we have a shot of Sir Christopher Lee shocking the fuck out of Yoda, looking very much like Christopher Lee would, a descendant of Charlemagne and a true absolute Chad. Kenner logos at the bottom, and of course on the back we have that so nostalgic early 2010s packaging for the Vintage Collection line. Instead of the 8-figure card back here, we do have a little bio that you can read right there. Of course, on the bottom we still have some legal jargon, and that is about it. I say in every single video, my friends, you only really care about the packaging if you're a carded or box collector, of which I am not. I'm here to open and review toys, and that is just what I'm going to do. Freeze frame.
What's he getting? This is the big question. What's he getting?
That tastes like promotion!
Freeze frame unfreeze, and here is Dooku out of the packaging. But before we take a look at him, let's take a look at what he comes with. First, of course, we do have the red extended hilt lightsaber, which is phenomenal. This is, of course, based off of the saber of Charlemagne, because Sir Christopher Lee was a descendant of Charlemagne and just an all-around awesome dude. The lightsaber is 100% accurate, even down to the red button down at the bottom of the hilt. Of course, Dooku can hold this. He is meant to hold it in his right hand, like that, so that he can have the hilt equal with his arm, like that, so that it's just an extension of his natural arm, which is pretty awesome. Great detail. We also do, of course, have my favorite accessory in every Vintage Collection Force user figure, which is the unextended hilt. This is the first time, I believe, that we're getting one of these in a Dooku figure. I had to customize mine on my shelf. Currently, my Sith shelf, I have the Sith Evolutions pack Dooku, and this is the first time I've seen an unextended Dooku hilt. So I'm very happy to have one that I didn't have to customize. But of course, this can just tab into his belt like the old style Vintage Collection figures, like that, and it looks perfect just sitting there. Ignore the anachronism here, it's like a Clone Wars editing mistake, but that is absolutely perfect. But real quick, let me remove Dooku's hand, pull an Anakin, and get on to our third and final accessory, that being Dooku's Force Lightning accessory. And this is a very nerfed Force Lightning. All the other Force Lightning accessories I've seen have been absolutely huge. This one's kind of small, but it still has the exact same effect. Just plug it right in there. And of course, Dooku can shock the shit out of someone, which is very nice. And of course, it is just cast in that clear blue plastic, painted over at the hand. Very nice, very nice, very nice. But moving on from the accessories, let's take a look at Dooku himself. And he... oh, shit, forgot to give him the sand back. Whoopsies, I really am Anakin, my bad. Moving in to look at Dooku himself, however, he does have an absolutely spitting likeness to Christopher Lee. It's kind of an uncanny valley. He does have the bags under his eyes and stuff, and all the folds on his face are right. But something about the shininess of the plastic on his face kind of makes it look a little weird. Hair color is right, though. There's a little bit of a light gray wash over that dark gray of his hair to give some depth to it, which is nice. The whites of his eyes are very underscored. You can see very nice detailing there, but it kind of blends in with the rest of his face. I think that has to do with the depth of the sculpt and also the bags around his eyes. But other than that, absolutely fantastic head sculpt. Dooku, of course, has always had a very plain outfit, just that brown tunic, which, of course, is sculpted here with the brown belt. On the back there, we do have some nice sculpted detail for the folds and the clothes, and the belt, of course, is painted all the way around. Very nice sculpting on his trousers as well, and I will lift Dooku's skirt for a second. Whoopsie, scandalous. Big brown, or actually no, they're like darkish brown, really light black jack boots here, which go up to his knees. Pretty nice. I like those. Kind of used to them on pretty much every Star Wars figure, because just about every Star Wars character wears those. But of course, the big draw to Dooku is his cape, which in a static pose is perfectly fine. I'm very happy that it is soft goods, obviously, because some figures Krennic don't have soft goods capes. Again, we'll talk more about that later. But of course, this one is soft goods, and it does have that nice silver piece of elastic band, which serves as the chain that Dooku has to connect the clasps of his cape. It can, of course, be removed, like so you can just have like a duelist Dooku, which is perfectly fine. And I actually kind of prefer this with the high collar, because otherwise this cape is kind of stiff. I'll show you right now. If you lift his arm up or try to get him in any kind of dynamic pose, of course it's going to make me look like a liar now, but the cape lifts up on his collar very high whenever you do literally anything, and it's kind of annoying. Though, truthfully, if you are a Christopher Lee fan, you could always count this as a Dracula reference, which I find hilarious, but I digress. I'm not saying I hate it, truthfully. I think this is a very good figure, spoiler alert, but that is kind of a bummer. But it's nice that it's soft goods, obviously. I'm not saying that that's bad. It is two-toned, a lighter brown inside with a darker brown outcoating, which is accurate and very nice to include as a detail. But moving on from the accessories and stuff, I'll take Dooku's cape off to actually do the articulation. He does have a dumbbell joint at his head, so he can go not very well. But as you can see, it is there, and it is very strangely geometrically shaped, and has a little bit of white paint on it, which is interesting. So do get some very nice natural poses with Dooku at the neck. He does have a full range of motion at the shoulders. He can go about that far out and all the way around. He does have a pretty good elbow bend. It's little tiny bit, just a smidge over 90 degrees, but it can also, of course, swivel at the elbow. He does have a wrist swivel on either hand and a down joint at either hand, so that he can get that perfect dueling stance with his curved lightsaber, which is very nice, and I actually preferred it that way, and I'm very happy that Hasbro made that decision. It's a nice waist joint, so he can kind of get his reps in. He's not very good at it, but I get it. He's an old man. This, of course, doubles as a waist swivel. Thankfully, he does have those nice ball-jointed hips, and mind the angle here. So you can get a full range of motion at the legs, as well as a thigh swivel. It's kind of gummy and kind of tight, but it does loosen up eventually. He has a pretty okay knee bend, just about 90 degrees. Of course, that can double as a swivel there, as well as a ankle down, ankle up, and ankle pivot, which is very nice. So some great articulation for this figure, as well as some great sculpting and some great accessories. But before I glaze this figure anymore, let's get some other figures in here to compare him to Freeze Frame.
You keep saying I have no bitches, but where are yours? Where are they? I don't see them!
Freeze Frame on Freeze, and here is Dooku next to our previous Star Wars Vintage Collection review, 9 Here he is next to the golden standard of action figures himself, a figure which I believe he is very much on par with Dark Times Darth Vader, and he is on a base there, so mind that. Here he is next to a Vitruvian Hax skeleton, and here he is next to a Mandalorian figure of my own design. So as you can see there, Dooku is pretty tall for a standard figure, which is accurate. Christopher Lee was a tall man. That's pretty much it for the comparison, though. Let's go on to my final thoughts so I can tell you exactly what I think about this figure. Freeze Frame.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force. And I fear nothing, for all this, as the Force wills it.
Hey, stop right there. He's blind.
Freeze Frame on Freeze. So overall, this figure, I mean, it's no contest. This figure is amazing. I don't glaze Hasbro often, but Hasbro absolutely knocked this one out of the park. I think it may join the upper ranks of my favorite Star Wars Vintage Collection figures, joining Dark Time Vader and Season 1 Hunter from the Bad Batch amongst my favorites. His sculpting, his painting, and his articulation are phenomenal, everything that constitutes a good figure, not to mention that this figure has been one of the most, if not the most, highly anticipated Star Wars figures of all time. It's absolutely criminal how few Separatists we get in this line, and having the Chief Separatist and one of the coolest villains in lore and in canon is honestly such a treat. I do love Count Dooku as a character, although I personally call him Darth Tyrannus because I call all the Sith by their Darth names. Absolutely phenomenal. Getting this figure was like a blast of nostalgia for me. The old style packaging as well as the high notoriety of this figure with such an amazing sculpt and amazing accessories really brought me back to my childhood of collecting these Star Wars Vintage Collection figures, going to Toys R Us, trying to pick out figures like Revenge of the Sith Anakin or Commander Cody and getting the foil variant and absolutely decimating the packaging, but enjoying those memories because I made them with my family and it was during a time when life was so simple. That's exactly what nostalgia is, and this figure absolutely captures that feeling perfectly. I highly recommend this figure. Like I said, it joins the ranks of the figures that I believe you should absolutely get if you are even remotely interested in this Star Wars Vintage Collection line. But if you like Dooku, or you like Star Wars, or you like Attack of the Clones, the Separatist, Star Wars Vintage Collection in general, Star Wars in general, make sure you share this video with your friends, share it with Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you like the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Keeps helping me pump out this content, keeps helping the channel grow. That's going to be pretty much it for this time, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, peace.